Crash course on North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, and Canada's contributions. The North Atlantic Treaty Organization, NATO, is a military alliance founded in 1949 by 12 countries, including the United States, Canada, and several European countries. Its main objective is to ensure the collective defense of its members against any external threats. Since its inception, NATO has expanded to include 30 members, including many countries from Eastern Europe that were previously part of the Soviet bloc. History of NATO. The founding of NATO was a response to the increasing threat of Soviet aggression in Europe after World War II. The treaty was signed on April 4, 1949, by Belgium, Canada, Denmark, France, Iceland, Italy, Luxembourg, the Netherlands, Norway, Portugal, the United Kingdom, and the United States. The treaty stated that an armed attack on one member would be considered an attack on all, and each member agreed to provide military support to the others. During the Cold War, NATO's main purpose was to deter Soviet aggression against its member countries. The organization maintained a significant military presence in Europe, including large numbers of troops and nuclear weapons. NATO's military readiness was put to the test during the Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 when the Soviet Union deployed nuclear missiles in Cuba. The crisis was eventually resolved peacefully, but it underscored the importance of NATO's role in deterring aggression and maintaining peace in Europe. After the fall of the Soviet Union in 1991, NATO's mission expanded to include peacekeeping and stability operations in other parts of the world, including Afghanistan, the Balkans, and Africa. In recent years, NATO has also focused on countering terrorism and cyber threats. Members and leadership. As of 2023, NATO has 30 member countries, including the United States, Canada, and most European countries. The most recent additions to the alliance are Montenegro, which joined in 2017, and North Macedonia, which joined in 2020. The leadership of NATO is headed by the Secretary-General, currently Jens Stoltenberg, who is responsible for the day-to-day management of the organization. The Secretary-General is assisted by a team of senior officials and military commanders, who oversee NATO's operations and programs. The organization's decision-making body is the North Atlantic Council, which is composed of the ambassadors of all member countries. The Council meets regularly to discuss and make decisions on issues related to NATO's mission and operations. Achievements of NATO. One of the main achievements of NATO is its role in maintaining peace and stability in Europe since World War II. The organization's collective defense clause has deterred aggression against its member countries and helped prevent major conflicts on the continent. NATO has also played a significant role in peacekeeping and stability operations in other parts of the world, including Afghanistan, where it has led the International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, since 2003. NATO has also been involved in humanitarian and disaster relief operations around the world. For example, in 2020, NATO provided assistance to member countries affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, including by coordinating the delivery of medical supplies and equipment. Current issues and challenges. One of the main challenges facing NATO today is the changing global security environment. The organization's traditional focus on deterring state-based aggression is being challenged by the rise of non-state actors, such as terrorist groups and cybercriminals. NATO is adapting to these new threats by increasing its focus on counterterrorism and cybersecurity, as well as working more closely with partner countries and organizations to address common security challenges. Another challenge facing NATO is the increasing tensions between some member countries and Russia. Since Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014, NATO has increased its military presence in Eastern Europe and stepped up its efforts to deter Russian aggression. However, these tensions have also led to concerns about a potential military conflict between NATO and Russia, which could have devastating consequences for Europe and the world. NATO has sought to address these tensions through diplomatic channels and dialogue with Russia, while also maintaining a strong military deterrent posture. Another issue facing NATO is the need to modernize and adapt its military capabilities to meet new threats and challenges. This includes investing in new technologies, such as artificial intelligence and autonomous systems, as well as increasing the readiness and mobility of NATO forces. Prospective new members. NATO has an open-door policy, which means that any European country that shares the organization's values and meets certain criteria can apply for membership. In addition, NATO has partnerships with a number of countries outside of Europe, including Australia, Japan, South Korea, and New Zealand, among others. Currently, there are several countries that have expressed interest in joining NATO, including Ukraine, Georgia, and North Macedonia. These countries have been working to meet the necessary criteria for membership, including developing democratic institutions, promoting the rule of law, and modernizing their military capabilities. However, the prospect of new members joining NATO is a complex and sensitive issue, particularly in light of tensions with Russia. Some NATO members are concerned that expanding the organization could provoke a negative reaction from Russia, while others believe that enlarging NATO is necessary to ensure stability and security in Europe. Ultimately, any decision to admit new members to NATO would be made by the organization's member countries, based on a careful assessment of the potential benefits and risks of expansion. Canada's contributions to NATO. Canada has been a member of NATO since its founding in 1949 and has made significant contributions to the organization over the years. During the Cold War, Canada was a key member of NATO's military alliance in Europe and played an important role in deterring Soviet aggression. In recent years, Canada has continued to be an active member of NATO, contributing troops and resources to peacekeeping and stability operations in Afghanistan, the Balkans, and other parts of the world. Canada has also played a leading role in NATO's efforts to increase gender equality in its operations and programs, including by promoting the participation of women in the military and civilian sectors. Interesting examples and stories. One interesting story about NATO involves its role in the Bosnian War in the 1990s. NATO became involved in the conflict in 1995, when it launched a series of airstrikes against Bosnian Serb forces that had been conducting a campaign of ethnic cleansing against Bosniak civilians. The airstrikes, which were the first in NATO's history, helped bring an end to the conflict and paved the way for the Dayton Accords, which ended the war. Another interesting example of NATO's work involves its partnership with Sweden, which is not a member of the organization but works closely with NATO on issues related to security and defense. In 2019, NATO and Sweden conducted a joint exercise called Trident Juncture, which involved over 50,000 personnel and tested the interoperability of NATO and Swedish forces. The exercise demonstrated the close cooperation between NATO and its partners and underscored the importance of working together to address common security challenges. Overall, NATO has played a crucial role in maintaining peace and stability in Europe and around the world for over 70 years. While the organization faces new challenges and threats, its members are committed to working together to adapt and strengthen NATO's capabilities and ensure its continued relevance in the 21st century. We hope this video has given you a taste of all the incredible experiences Canada has to offer. If you're ready to start planning your own adventure to Canada, please ensure to use our Booking.com referral link. https://www.booking.com/index.html?8=7989335 to book your flights, hotels, car rentals, local attractions, and more. It's an easy and kind way to support this channel and make sure you get the best possible deals on your trip. Thank you. Anhub Metaverse team at Vancouver, Canada, CA.